This OIFC TV adventure is brought to you by the Ocean Isle Fish Company, located on Ocean Isle Beach at the base of the bridge. Come be a part of the show and enjoy on-the-water dining while the fishing fleet offloads fresh catch daily. New sushi bar now open. The Wing and Fish Company, located on Main Street in the historic district of downtown Charlotte, providing the area's largest selection of craft beers, chicken wing flavors, and fresh seafood from the OIFC fleet. The Swamp Park in Ocean Isle Beach, North Carolina, featuring an intense and challenging nature-oriented zipline and adventure park. New for 2019, Get Dirty ATV Tours. Freeman Boatworks, redefining limits. And these other fine sponsors.
Look at that leader. You want it? Yeah, I want the leader. I'm gonna get on the next one. Ruby, be ready to put it neutral. Oh. What was that? Ow! They win. Hold my skirt and drop my skirt. Woo. Fish away, catch and release, giant bluefin tuna. Doggone it, the big loss there was I dropped my skirt head. Oh well. Hey, we got another one on over there on the other side, by the way. All right, welcome back to the second installment of OIFC TV. It's been, I think, maybe 2 weeks since our last show. And Ruben's still hooked up, so we just wanted to restart. I think he turned a year older in between all that. But anyway,
2 weeks and you're not any closer. It doesn't look like.
Oh, making no progress whatsoever. He is pulls his boat
still.
offshore.
This is the first fish that bit. This is still our first bite of our double, and this is acting like a much bigger fish.
So just to recap, in case you missed the last show, we are up here in Oregon Inlet, about 50 miles offshore, an area called the Point, and we fished for maybe 10 minutes, I guess, but we've been fighting hand-to-hand combat with gigantic bluefin tuna for the past hour or so, and we had to end the last show because this one wouldn't quit, so we're right back here again.
Yeah, so
It won't give an inch. I haven't been able to get it in.
we're at 34 pounds of drag.
Oh, got it in.
The fish he's really just pedaling down sea. So what I'm gonna have to do on my end as the boat driver here is I try not to continually chase the fish, to drive to the fish, because when I drive to the fish, it takes pressure off of him. So I want that fish to have to pull that drag. Now, once he gets a little bit more line out, he's got a ton out. Once he gets a little more line out, we are gonna have to turn on him and collect some of our line back and start the process over again. But you don't want to see too many guys fishing this way get caught in the habit of just riding, chasing the fish. So the fish is more or less just pulling. You gotta stop him, make him gasp to get air. That's the way you're gonna beat him.
Hey, well, let's go ahead and get on top of this fish, get a little closer, and then when we settle in again, we'll talk a little bit about the equipment that we're using and what it takes to actually match up to these fish.
Do it. All right, you ready? You need to be, are you in the swivel base rod holder?
No. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Here we go. Coming to get you. Taxidermy's gonna have a heart attack. More speed, Captain. Can't see, Ray. Eyes up. And go. Absolutely. Your forearms feel like Popeye after doing that.
Better go get your can of Spanish.
Yep. You want more speed or you want to rest? I'm ready whenever. Jump on him and we'll collect some more. Ready. Go ahead. Okay, take this little tackle break to show you what exactly, how we're getting these bluefin tuna to bite. First off, have mentioned our fluorocarbon leader. We're usually using something around 180 to 220. The skirt is completely whatever you like. We have seen that white is a very good color. A lot of guys using white. I like to throw a little bit of pink stripe in it. This is just an old 1.5, 2 ounce sea witch, but there's plenty, you know, Islanders and Blue Water Candy Jags and Joe Shoot heads. Something with some weight, you know, generally 2 to 3 ounces white. And then from there, it's roughly about a 10-aught hook. I'm gonna have, this is about a 3/4 to 1 ounce egg sinker. And then I use the Monell rigging wire, okay? Now, when you go to rig your bait, preparation, first off, to prep the bait. So this is the way I like to do it. Take my scissors and I cut the wings off. Step 1. Step 2, we gotta see what he ate for breakfast right before he got caught. So we're gonna de-poop him. So we're gonna work him, oh yeah, yep, looks like some Fruit Loops, maybe a bagel, salmon. That was the last meal. We poop them. Then right here on the back, if you squeeze that back, the meat will pop up and separate from the backbone. And then lastly, just kind of bend him out. What we want him is we just want him real limber, okay? The other thing, I don't have my poker right now, but a lot of guys like to poke the eyes out just so you can run your rigging wire through it. If you have an old arrow shaft, cut it off, poke it through. And then the bill, I usually leave about a 1/2 inch or so. When you break the bill, break it down and then peel it back, and it leaves a little hollow groove right there that your line can run in. All right, now to rig the boat, pretty simple. I'm gonna take the weight, basically line it up to it's under his eyes, see where the hook will come out of the bait. I'm gonna put my thumb right there as a marker, take the hook point, and I'm gonna make a point in through the gill, out through the hole, kind of feed the hook down till that weight is right there where you measured from. Then I take my Monell, I'm gonna go through the eye. And what I'm doing here is I'm not trying to jam the weight up inside of the fish. The weight acts like a keel. So first I'm gonna go twice through the eyes on the back side of the weight. Then I'm gonna push the weight forward up against his head. I'm gonna go back through the eye again. This one now is going to pull that weight real snug up under his chin. I'm gonna hold it tight. My last one is around the main line, from the bottom through right there in the bend of his mouth. There's a soft spot. I'm gonna come right out of there. And then from there, I wanna place that leader right down that groove in his bill I mentioned a minute ago. And I wanna come right out the end like that. And then you just finish wrapping it down. And you end up, so that weight rides like a keel, holds him nice and straight. He's gonna swim like crazy. And that, my friends, is how we got our bluefin tunas to bite. And we're gonna pull those at about 5.5 to 6 knots. And they jump on them like a rat on a Cheeto. On our next tackle segment here, what I wanted to talk about, I mentioned while we were catching the fish, how your connections are such a critical part. And man, it's taken me years to learn, and definitely still never claim to have it perfected, but your connection is really important. This is one of your critical ones, which is the connection between your fluorocarbon and your mono top shot. What we're putting in the middle is a Spro power swivel. This is a 240-pound Spro power swivel. It's very small, which allows it to go through the guides, but yet incredibly strong. But it's the connections here. So what we've ended up doing is that black tubing is called chafe gear. What that does is that protects the line as it comes through that swivel, because you get a lot of wear right in that bend. So that's helping to protect that. When you break it here, you hear them talk about it on TV on Wicked Tuna, it's called a crotch break. When you break it right there, the swivel pulls through. So that chafe gear helps that. But it's the crimps where I've really learned a lot. And what I've learned is there's a science to crimping. And this mainly pertains to this heavy duty fishing, you know, where you're testing everything out to its limits. And so I've gone to using one of these heavy duty crimpers. It's kind of like vice grips almost. And what this crimper does different than your smaller hand-sized tool is that when you crimp it and lock it, it's the same pressure every time, whereas the other ones, the pressure is just how hard you squeeze. So this, when it snaps shut, it's the same every time. And the other thing that I've learned is the size of the crimps matter. So every crimp box these are Genkai's. They use the letters LI, J, SG. They've got a G swivel. Bill Fisher uses numbers 1.3, 1.6, 1.9. But anyway, I have found that using the correct crimp is critical. And even though, like this LI fits on this same line as the SG, but for some reason it pinches the line when you crimp it, and we broke fish off. So the only real way to test that is just good old-fashioned muscle. So what I do is I'll take some 130-pound test, I'll crimp loops in each end, I'll literally hang one end on a doorknob, put a scale in my hand, and then just start leaning on it, and you find out what's going to hold better, how many pounds of pressure you can put on them before they break. But there is no replacement for good old-fashioned testing, you know, taking your time and then practicing, which is what we did, you know, in our trip here on this episode. Was we put our tackle to the test. You know, you got to fail before you learn to succeed. And so having the correct crimping tool, and even within the crimping tool, you being sure you know which gap to use, because there's multiple. So there's a little more to it than just putting it all together. And again, knots definitely won't work. So little crimping lesson to put in your repertoire. Practice makes perfect. All right, man, so we're about, All right, we're about an hour, 10 minutes into this, something like that, let's say?
It's 9, yeah, we're at least an hour, probably an hour and a half, close to it.
Okay, so you like the Shimano, the Tiagras, the 80 wides.
Yep, yeah, so the deal with our tackle is for many years when we were able to catch these fish in shallower water, back around our home beach, we could use smaller reels because the fish couldn't go anywhere, but now they've got thousands of feet of water, so we have to have capacity. So we've gone to the 80 wides. This particular reel, I've got 1,000 yards of 150-pound Power Pro braid, which is then spliced into a 100-yard section of 130-pound Mamoy Diamond monofilament. That's what we call a top shot.
So I think the reason why you have the braid on there is simply for capacity. It's much thinner diameter. You can get a lot more on the reel.
That's right.
But why do you put the mono shot, top shot?
So we need the mono on there because we want some stretch. Braid is has no stretch, so the fish would have a tendency to pull hooks real bad without the stretch. So that's the important part.
And what pound test is the braid and what pound test is the mono?
Yeah, the braid's 150, the mono's 130.
But the mono breaks, it's real, I think it's stronger than 130.
Yeah, that's right. It's rated 130, but it's probably stronger than 150. And then from there, we have a very important connection from the 130-pound mono top shot to our fluorocarbon leader, which is 180. We usually use either Seagar or Mamoy 180 fluoro, and that's about 50 feet. And that connection between the main top shot and that fluoro, you've got some crimps in there. That's a very vulnerable spot.
That's right.
And
so the fluorocarbon, the purpose of that is, basically we've talked now 3 different sections of lines, which when you do that, you have connections, which is always your weak point, but there's a reason that we have each layer. You got your braid for the capacity, so you got enough line, you don't run out of line. You got your top shot to give you some stretch.
That's right.
And then you got your leader because it's invisible and it's a little heavier for abrasion resistance.
That's exactly right. Yep, 3 sections. The connections are critical. You do not ever want to tie any knots. I don't care if you're splicing, that's going to be your weak point. So crimping is the surest way, and there are right ways and wrong ways to crimp. There's a lot of experimentation. I spend much time in the tackle room crimping and then pulling with a scale to try to get the right connection. But it's a little more technical than I would have thought. But anyway, and then our rod, this is an OIFC custom. I've designed this rod almost 20 years ago, and we've been using them. It's all wind-on guides. It's got great action. Really love it. And gosh, there's so many guys in our area using it for anything from bluefin to blue marlin to deep dropping for tilefish, swordfish. This is an OIFC custom rod. Oh, wait, shark tooth grip, really cool. And then you can attach any butt you want on it.
Right. And speaking of the OIFC Efficient Center there, I mean, you can get all this stuff there. I mean, you'll rig it up.
We got it at the Fishing Center, we do, and we know how to rig it.
And this is not, there's bluefin tuna, there's a lot of mystique around them, primarily because of their location and in the size of the fish, but to be honest with you, I mean, it's not real complicated, it's more about just being there and putting your time in.
The difficulty is being up here, the weather condition, navigating the inlet, the weather conditions, generally operating in the dark to get to where you want to be. Very difficult, and takes some guts or unintelligence, however you want to put it. Uh-oh.
Change directions on you.
He's coming. Give me that line back.
Are you low gear right now?
No, I'm not. And then the other very difficult part is the actual catching of the fish. Getting the bite, generally not that hard.
Not complicated, is it?
But it's getting here, and then it's having the right gear and the right setup to get the fish to the boat. Otherwise, come on up, or better yet, come fish with us. We do this every February. And we have folks come up, and you too can anguish on the end of the rod of a bluefin tuna.
Save us. We're good. We're good.
Be beat to death, but a lot of people come up here to do this. It's a bucket list thing. I want to catch a giant bluefin tuna, and we'd love to have you do it. February. We book in December, and get set up, booked out for our February fishing. And then we come up here and do this, except that's commercial season, so we'll keep the fish during that. But back to work.
All right, quit messing around.
Let's get this one.
We're making some ground now. This fish has quit taking line. I think we've got him thinking about it. He's realizing he may have a problem. 34 pounds of drag still. He's squeaking off a little bit right now, but he's pretty. Once we get him like this, we kind of want to switch sides and get on the upsea side. See what happens here. All right, we're in the monitor now. It's your game. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I don't know about this still, what my links are, but we're gonna try it. Okay. Pretty close.
I'm gonna back it off just a little bit. There. You good? Yeah, you want to tie it, man.
Where do you tighten this one at?
Got it? Yeah. All right, so we're doing all this maneuvering, getting set up. What's important to note, we back the drag way off. Don't expect to be, walking around and moving stuff with 30 pounds of drag. So we back the drag off enough to keep the line tight, but we can still maneuver. Bear's trying to get himself comfortable. We have tied him in the boat.
I'm not in low gear.
No, you're not.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's a mess right there.
Yes, it is. If he goes peeling off line, Barrett, back that drag and just let him clean all that reel up. Or you can let him have it back and fix it, whatever you want to do. We've gotten a little not a backlash, but what's happened is the line has looped over itself because it got piled up in the middle and then it shot over to the side of the spool. And it's gotten, see how dirty it's gotten? Look at all that, that's a mess. That's a problem waiting to happen. So rather than, hang on. Woohoo! Rather than let that turn into a snag, we're just gonna clean it up now.
I got no tension.
Okay.
I didn't clean it up.
All right.
All right, we're clean.
Cleaned up now?
Yep. I might have to come out of this thing. Bottom of my feet are cramping up.
Bottom of your feet are cramping up.
Yeah.
While I'm losing line, I'll tell you a little story. So we fought a fish back a month ago. Fought just like this, over an hour, did everything a tuna does. Came up, the friggin' eagle ray. We had snagged it in the wing. Thing ran, went down, did all of this. I'm hoping that's not what this is, but you never know out here. But whatever this one is, this one's grown. I've bumped it up to about 38. I got him on hold right here. Whoop, never mind, there goes some more line. Stand up is not the way, huh?
Man, I think it could be beneficial if you did it when he was closer. But when they get this far away and it's this rough
and calm, yeah, if it's not the
if
speed.
It's calm, it's no problem, man. But this is dangerous when you got 40 pounds of drag and your boat's rocking. Man, I felt myself coming out of the boat, and that's rough there.
All right, we're straight up and down here on a really big fish. Wait, and the deal is here. That's why the guys use the harpoons, because getting them literally to submit at the boat is really hard, especially in these sea conditions. So for us to expect to get this fish laid up beside the boat is a lot. So for the viewers, you just have to take our word. This is a big one. I don't know if we'll get him any further or not. I got it. We're gonna try, but Lot of fish. Lot of fish. Look, I think preliminary view looks better than 100 inches.
There he is right there.
Putting it on it for sure. Big wave, Rube, big wave. Big wave. Can't see.
Just sit. There he is. Good shot.
Throw the harpoon! Pretty fish. Oh, if we can get him up here. I'd like to show you instead of tell you the story.
That's it, man. I'm
Gotta be right there.
I'm 5 feet away. He's under the boat. His head's gonna pop right out, right there.
There he is. There he is. Got him. Good job, boys. Woo. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a
100+ incher.
Oh yeah. Easily. Easily. That's a 105 or better. Bear, try to turn it down C and then just put them in gear.
Alright. In gear now, down C. You got one in. Tell me what you need.
I think that's what we want to do. Just straight down C.
Okay, that's it right there.
Yeah, hit autopilot. We should be able to just swim him right here. Look at that fish right there. Oh. All right. Yeah, hang on. Oh, grab my phone and get some pictures. Hang on, Rube, not yet. We're not ready to cut him yet. All right. Look at me. Yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh. That's a good picture.
Alright, I got good pictures.
Oh, Lord, what a fish.
That's a good one, boys.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Wow.
And that's why it took so long.
That whooped all 3 of us.
2 weeks.
My gosh.
Good job, Barrett. Good job, Rube. So that's OIFC TV right there. Released. That's the second of actually that's the first of a double header. Released the first fish about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was in the 85 to 90 inch range.
So that one was around 400 pounds. This one right here, I'm guessing about 800 pounds.
Yeah, well, it's
So-
at least a 6 to 7, I'd say. 105, 110 inch fish. That's a good one. That was bigger than any fish that I caught this February, this season. So, good job, Grandpa Rube. Good job, Captain Barrett. Freeman Boat did great.
OIFC TV is off to a start.
OIFC
Off
TV.
and running.
Good job, boys.